Back at it again with another build biology. Today's guest, kind of near and dear to my heart. Some guys that I looked up to when I first got into this stuff. Really known for Supra stuff and very, very, very clean work. Just gonna catch some double vision. You may know these guys. If you don't, you're about to know. Twins Turbo.
What up, man?
What's up, man?
What's up, guys? How are you?
Chilling. About yourself?
Good.
Up high.
What's up?
What up?
What's up? All right.
So this is our cool little hot rod here.
It's a cool hot rod. Introduce yourself real quick.
I'm Mark Kaz. I'm from Twins Turbo Motorsports.
Eric, his brother.
No way. You guys are brothers?
Every day.
Oh, dang.
Every day.
Every day.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about right now. Seen it in Super Street, seen it in Speed Hunters.
This thing has made the rounds on the internet for sure.
It sure has.
So we got a 94 Supra here, Turbo, and it's owned by Enrique Munoz. This guy is an enthusiast. He's owned this car since 2001. He has gone to Japan to get a bunch of the wild body parts for it before they were able to get over here in America. He's the real deal. He spent a year acquiring the proper parts that we requested for the build.
Enrique's a graphic artist by trade, so he's got extremely attention to detail, which is awesome for us because you give us direction on a build, and then we could try to bring out your vision, as opposed to just build my car and just do whatever you want. So we were literally following Enrique's vision on this thing. So
we spent 2 years building this thing, and there's no sins on it. You could take panels off. Behind the panels, you're not going to find anything hidden. This thing is as good as we can make it, and we put a lot of effort into it.
Well, let's check out some of the effort up close and personal. That's why we're here. We'll start with the outside, the exterior.
I mean, it's pretty simple. It maintains the classic looks of the Supra, not a wide body, nothing crazy.
Mm-hmm. Got aftermarket wide body fenders up front and a really unique body kit from Japan that he was able to source before it's available here. But it's a Ferrari Corso Rosso red, and
this is a genuine Ridox.
This is the real deal
right
Ridox
here,
kit.
Which is a big deal to these people. It's important.
Yeah.
It's a genuine Ridox kit, so it's not a knockoff. It's one of the very few.
And he went to Tokyo Auto Salon and picked it up himself physically in person.
So this dude, the owner of the car, cool story. He went to Japan, met Mr. Orito himself, saw that wing at Tokyo Auto Salon, slapped his credit card down on the table, said, "I'm taking that thing home." Dude laughed at him, but eventually sold it to him. And that's the actual wing from the Tokyo Auto Salon. There's only one of them.
I like to see this as well. Like, it's very clean, and I know you guys can pop this off.
Yeah, those are like, and you know, like little fasters like these. These are from the aircraft industry. That's normally on a drone. Very lightweight, small minimum, no drag, high speed, and you know, we like that kind of stuff.
And it's just very clean. It's almost, you can't even really recognize it when you're not looking for it. But
and it's a quarter turn fastener. It's really unique.
And it allows us to pop the nose off in a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
He makes it easy to load on it up, even getting up you guys' ramp right here.
Yeah.
Just a matter of boom.
And I know it'll come off very nice.
Yep.
Nice wheels.
Special order from Germany. My goodness.
The running lights up front here, man.
These running lights blow people's minds too. These up front here.
I can hardly even see them.
It's crazy, but like the Supra's got a factory light that's about twice, maybe 3 times as tall as that.
Yeah.
So it's nobody ever changes them and put anything else in there. So he got these from Europe. They never brought them here into America. We had our body guys, Buddha Concept Design, who was just phenomenal guys to work with on this kind of stuff. French them in there, and they look factory.
Man, it looks amazing.
It's just a really neat look.
I didn't even notice. That's like how much detail that is.
Our wiring guy, Greg Piles, who does all the wiring on the car, he's a Motec wiring guy. He was able to figure out how to make those things be running lights and blinkers, depending on what you do with it.
Oh, really?
So, you know, a little bit of electronic wizardry to trick that thing to work.
Oh, sure.
But now it's really neat, so it's built into one unit, right? I mean, again, little things like that. I mean, we've had 100 Super people ask us to buy those things.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't buy them,
get them
because they're just custom.
That's you know, so this adds up to this guy's car. Is just it's very unique.
I really like these skirts too. It's so nice.
Oh, just neat and tidy.
Just molded in.
Yep.
That's so nice. So good.
And the paint is 14, 15 years old. And it's and when we were evaluating the build, we were discussing paint options, and we were like, almost why? You know, it's a Ferrari Corsa red, and
laid on nicely.
It's
just nice. These wheels, though.
Wheels.
Jeez,
I mean,
how,
we couldn't
where do we
get
have to
these
go
wheels.
to get these wheels, man?
Yeah.
In this offset and this combo.
How wide are they?
In here in America, they're 11.5s in the back, and 10s up front. I want to say 10.5s. 10.5s up front and 11.5s in the rear. The offset is so weird that we had to call BBS. We had to give them what we want. We're responsible for all the measurements because if it's wrong, it's on us.
Yeah.
And we had to wait for a racing team in Europe to order us 2 or 3 sets of these, and they would be willing to make one more set for us. So that's how we got that.
Yeah,
It took what, 8 months? It took months to get the wheels. It literally took months to get them.
To show how flush perfect it is. So.
The fit is awesome too, and I that's another thing that's really important to these kind of cars is the fitment on the wheels.
You gotta just measure 100 times.
The wing is so nice too, just coming up, and even all of this carbon.
You know what it is? It locks in the 90s.
It's a
for
period.
me, period correct.
Yeah.
Of the whole this was like the pinnacle of the 90s Japanese cars, in my opinion.
I
At
don't
least
think
what's
I've ever
available
seen
here.
a 90s Supra look so good.
You know,
You're too kind. You're too kind.
But you know,
Like,
and
like
it's
back in the day when I saw them, everybody else can relate. If you see the Fast and Furious stuff, that's
This
what
was in
you
one of the
relate
movies,
to.
too.
This is not. This is way.
you know, we're
clean.
way too serious, dude,
Yeah.
and we're way too.
We take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, and it's like, I know this car is going to be seen. I know it's going to represent us. I know it's literally, this is the pinnacle of everything we've done doing Supras for 20-something years.
That
And
diffuser's really slick.
it's all in here. We're really proud of it, though. I hope you guys enjoy it, you like it, appreciate it. We try to pay respect and homage to the Supra for what it is and not change it too much, but really just elevate it and
It's one
and
of
kind
those
of
cars that I've always wanted.
timeless, lock it in,
Yeah.
And you can know that there's not too many people, even the super aficionados, know that there's 37 pounds worth of bolts on the bottom
That's
of this
so
car.
much.
If you take off every nut and bolt on the bottom of this thing, it adds up to about 37 pounds.
It's just insane.
And you can actually
And
polish
we have
and plate those things.
We have them all categorized, every single one, every bolt, nut, washer. We know exactly what goes where for the whole entire bottom of this car.
And the interior is incredible.
Jeez,
Man,
the interior.
man.
I don't even want to touch it.
This interior was done by Gabe's Custom Interiors, and Gabe's has done Chip Foose's cars for years. These guys are really the top
Look
of
at
the
all
top.
the stitching.
And my God, did they knock it out of the park on this thing. So they did leather wraps on the roll cage also even with matching stitching.
Stitches.
And
Let me catch that. Look at that.
So this basket weave on the seat,
Absolutely
this
insane.
normally is an embossment on leather, and except for this is actually stitched. So this is strips of leather that's woven together.
so
in a
that's a
basket.
real basket right
It's
there.
a real basket.
Wow.
And the entire dashboard and everything was removed. Every single stitch is perfect, lining up.
There's not a stretch or wrinkle anywhere. The
It's
headliner was
amazing.
done too. Even these trim pieces, they don't belong in the door here. This isn't supposed
Oh,
to be
yeah.
here, this chrome. And this little pull tab here, a la GT3 Porsches, not supposed to be here.
That's actually what I was going to say. That's what it reminds me of is GT3 Porsche. It's one of my favorite cars.
And that's just a neat little detail that a car guy would recognize.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the kind of stuff that makes our day when somebody like yourself says,
Yeah.
"Oh, I could dig that."
Yeah,
because
it's one of
why
my
you do it
favorite
for.
cars. So that instantly when I saw it pull up, that's kind of what I thought when I saw the interior.
This-
Like,
this-
well, this is it.
This little neat trim everywhere. That doesn't belong there,
Yeah,
but it works. And
the whole dash and everything.
Check
is
the
so clean.
Recaro logos in the seats.
Yeah,
That's even a
okay.
vintage Recaro logo from the 70s that we had Enrique source on the internet. He had to buy it from Europe from somebody to
I
use
think it was
that.
Ireland eBay.
Yeah.
They paid a lot of money for those
I
stupid
mean, the
things.
stitching is just everywhere.
It's
It
just-
smells lovely.
I mean, it's crazy.
it smells brand new.
yeah.
I can't
Even
get
in
to
the back
seat.
the jump
yeah.
seats, same thing. And then the stereo.
I wouldn't recommend sitting back there, but
Not even
Oh,
on a
wow.
stock Supra would you recommend sitting back there. It's not really.
and you even
place
have
to
the
sit.
basket back there. The basket weaved as well.
And the headliner. Even all of these panels here.
Yeah.
These panels are all plastic. Took them all off. They're all leather wrapped now. Every single panel inside this car is done. To the point where Gabe's
You
basically
can't.
said if
you can't even tell via the camera that this is all leather and just like
these guys did such an amazing
Yeah.
job on it that you literally have to see it in person.
yeah,
And normally you could ruin an interior
Oh my God.
faster than you could
yeah.
You
On
know,
doing the interior,
make it nicer than
That's-
factory. It's really easy to ruin it.
And I noticed you have Motec.
So yeah, it's got a M800 and a Nixon expander. It's got traction control multiplexer
you want me to fire that dash up?
and
Sure. Yeah.
Looks cool.
Take a-
That's the new Motec C12.
again, we didn't want to cut a hole in the dashboard, so we made a rig that supported that that gauge pod in the factory air vent.
Yeah, so that's an air vent behind there that just
we
removes
just
the air vent.
repurposed it.
Yeah.
So there's no holes in the dashboard because these panels are increasingly difficult to get.
Yeah.
So we try to covet these things, you know.
I've always loved this interior of the Mark IV because it just feels like
so driver oriented.
It's driver centric.
Yeah, it's just
there's nothing for the passenger to do.
Around you. Yeah, everything's facing you. It just you feel like you're a part of it. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, it's very driver orientated, man.
So then we had even the dashboard is all LEDs now, which is converted over from incandescent to LEDs, and the HVAC system
that looks so
is done
nice.
also.
You know, when you notice when you're sitting in these older cars, when you're looking at the dashboard, it just seems old and it doesn't.
Especially when you
this is all carbon.
doesn't have a look, you know.
Yep.
Just for this, that's carbon fiber.
And that's a real deal TRD tack right there, which are increasingly. I mean, that tachometer right now is valued about $1,200 by itself.
It's beautiful. I
Just
love
because it's a super rare 25-year-old piece that you can't get anymore.
And I can't believe it's 25 years old already. It's ridiculous, man.
Man, it's just incredible.
Red belts, just to again a la GT3.
Yeah, and they're like a factory style rather than a harness.
Yep. Obviously, it's too easy to go with the harness. That's just you know.
Let's check out the boot. Let's get it opened up. And
Crack the boot open.
Oh, that's better. Now you can see all the leather. See now and there.
Too bad you guys can't smell it, though.
I know you can't smell it.
You got
smell-o-vision here.
I mean, it's
just.
I mean,
you can imagine.
It's really nice.
It's
And
like
it's
the
like-
inside
it's
of a
nice.
really nice leather suitcase.
yeah, it's like your girl's about to hurt you with the price of this store.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. Like there's a brand new purse.
And it's going to cost thousands.
Everything. This is worse than any Gucci purse out there. It's amazing. All right. Well, that's cool.
That's neat.
Can we do that again? That's just cool. The battery.
Quick disconnect here. It's on a cable too, so there's a pull cable behind the seat.
Oh yeah.
So
Park the car, you just disconnect the battery remotely, let it sit, because this is not a car you drive.
Oh, and that's under the seat then to pull for.
there's a right next to the seat and behind it. So if you reach behind the seat, there's just a little pull
for the
cable,
kill
push-pull
switch.
cable.
That's it.
Yeah.
A little Morse cable, so it'll just, you don't have to worry about climbing back here to shut it off. The subs underneath here, there's amps hidden there. It's all just tucked away. Again, just not trying to be in your face. Just
Really clean.
And then we could still put the target in here. You can still maintain the target top, lock it into place. So if you wanted to remove the roof, which you probably don't after 25 years, but
Yeah.
you know, now a lot of people do.
Kept it all there.
And even like these here, these are all converted over to LEDs also. On all the lights on the outside of the car, which just make a little bit of a difference. And just when you park this thing next to a new car and it's got the old bulbs in it, it's noticeable that it's an older car.
I agree with you. Let's check out the beast under the hood.
Let's do that, man. This is normally where we would specialize. This is where our focus has always been, under the hood.
Yeah. Take that.
Holy
in for a
mackerel.
second.
I'll just remain silent for a minute
just
here.
take
Let's
that
just
in.
soak that in.
Just take it in for a second.
And again, I mean, we went and hemmed and hawed over fittings. I mean, we're talking down to washers and hardware where these washers don't work. We need different washers, that type of stuff.
Like right here.
Like everything has got a stud on it. Everything is studded. And these are stainless steel studs that have been polished and then anodized as a.
We had to have ARP make half of these because they don't even make them. So we converted everything that we could to a stud and a nut. They're all everywhere. You know, even like the intake manifold here is, and then the throttle body here. You know, they have a relief in there so you could put them on.
Everything.
Everything.
And then once we got ARP to make these things for us, we take them, we look at them, and say, oh, that's really nice. And we sent it out to be
Some of them out to be cadmium plated.
cadmium plated.
Some of them out to just be made black anno. And it's, you know, and then again, like he's serious. Like we would go with Enrique and be like, Enrique, here is this with a gold washer underneath it. Here's this with a silver washer underneath it and a black washer underneath it. What do you prefer? And we did that down the line with everything. With everything. So we micromanaged this thing.
Every little detail that people don't even think about.
We've been doing this for so long that it's like there's so many things that you wanted to do, and Enrique just said, just do them. Just do them all. We ended up just doing them all. And using his guidance to say, okay, that's what it's going to look like. But
And then even these panels here have got all the electronics and
That's
the
when you
stuff
stand back
behind
and
them.
look at where is everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So okay? So anybody that's got a Supra knows there's a fuse box here.
Yeah.
There's a wiring harness here.
Power
There's
steering
another
over here
box here.
normally.
Power steering there, and all that stuff is
ABS
gone. But it's
stuff.
still all here.
So this is all tucked in.
Yep. And we just access panels so you
nice,
can
that looks-
service it, and you can add brake fluid if you needed to. This, that, the other thing, and it's all paint's taken care of underneath there.
Yeah,
There's
of
no
course.
sins on there, and it's all squared away. And in there, there's fittings and mil-spec harnesses and lines too. There's no, it's not like we just started using hose clamps in there or anything.
Right.
So
So you could see down here, if you can see, I don't know if it's a little dark.
It is
But-
a bit, yeah, but
we had a
you
light.
can kind of get in there.
Yeah. So you got 2 mil-spec disconnects in there for the wiring harness, one
Yeah.
for the engine, one for the fuel system, and then the rest of it is plumbing. So that's just plumbing lines that go through the brake system right there and the clutch master cylinder. So there's no like grommets with hoses run through it. Everything has got an AN line with a bulkhead on it or a bulkhead with an electronics on it.
So no rubber, no gaping holes.
No
for no
rubber,
reason.
no chafing, no lines moving and doing what they want
Yeah,
to do. We
yeah.
control everything. We tell exactly where you're going and nothing is moving. And we got to give props to our buddy Mark DeLong, rest in peace, for the metal work on this thing here. Because Mark, he took our vision and he did the metal work underneath here. And we lost Mark last year, so this is a shout out to you, Mark.
Well, the legacy lives on.
Yeah,
I
it's a
mean,
good one
look
too.
Look at
look at the headlight covers, man.
Look at the
I mean,
headlight
how
cover.
tricky those things were to make on the backside, and those things are retained with one screw and
Right.
some magnets.
right there and some
So
magnets.
that, and look at this panel right here, dude. It's like you can't even see the hardware on here. There's no hardware to see how it's retained.
Yeah.
Or how it's attached.
So
Can't see that.
It's tricky,
And
mega
this,
tricky.
This thing here, that's not flat either. So if you notice, this is curved down. This is curved down also, and
Yeah.
So this is not a flat piece there. This shaped along the body line of the firewall right there. That's dictated by the Toyota. So there's 4 different angles on that top piece there to try to make it fit there perfectly.
And it just looks like a factory piece.
And what this, I think what we were talking about with Enrique, if I remember it, is like we just wanted to like have the engine like highlighted like in a display case.
Yeah.
The 2JZ engine, GTE that we love, venerate, and there it is on display. Just cool extraction duct for the radiator.
So this is a V-mount here. You want us to pop the nose off, or?
Yeah, we might as well pop the nose off too.
While we're here, we could kind of see the
Oh,
one
that's
quarter
cool
turns.
right there.
Open up the engine a little bit for you.
Yeah.
So this is all neat too. This is all aluminum too, dude. All aluminum, this duct here. You
I
know,
just gotta feel it to believe you.
feel it to believe it. Man. And it's very tricky.
That.
And you can
looks
find some
very
sins
tricky.
on it where it's not 100%, but that's the purpose when you make something by hand. You
Yep.
know? It's going to be crafty.
It is amazing. It's beautiful work.
So these end tanks even, these are all hand hammered. So this is a formed aluminum end tank that my brother hand hammered over wood buck to get the shape on both
Really?
sides there. So this is old school craftsmanship that you just don't find anymore.
So this way we can get that really nice laminar flow that we want.
What material is everything made of? This is all aluminum.
All
Yep.
aluminum.
And the
aluminum.
piping as well?
Aluminum. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
And so like you'll see here that this is this is a bulkhead on the inlet here.
Yeah.
This is a male tube welded into the car there, sandwiched
I
both
didn't
sides.
even notice that. That's
So there's no dirt getting in through that inlet filter, banging around
That
over there in a
is
rubber hose.
crazy.
It's welded in there, it's painted, it's Frenched in, it makes it nice, and the filter's on the bottom, and it just is all one sealed unit.
I've never seen that.
Awesome. Check it out, even like this is the mount for the intercooler, and the metal here has got to be relieved for this. If you put your finger over here, you'll see that's
yeah,
underneath it.
just flush.
So, I mean, that's pretty tricky.
And even though it's hidden
That's
under the
amazing.
intercooler, hidden
Yeah.
under everything. It's like, it's got to be high level.
I love you put the little logo in there.
Yeah.
Sounds terrible. All right, so this is all gorgeous, and I know since I've seen you guys pull in here, the bumper comes off super easy as well.
Want to
Yep.
pop that sucker
Let's
off?
pop it off and take a look at all the
Let's
ducting.
do it.
So-
Check these quarter turn fasteners out, man.
Yeah. That's
So,
good shit.
I mean, we got these things from like a drone program, and they're self-ejecting, really
High
slick
misalignment.
little quarter-turn fasteners. It's like a modern Zeus fasteners that's retained, and you get them from the aircraft industry. They're pretty expensive, but that's slick,
Yeah, it is.
you know.
That's how the easy that came off.
And the wiring for the nose. So all the electronics on the nose is on a quick disconnect, which is pretty neat, and a curly cord.
And the curly cord is cool.
That's real carbon. It goes all the way to the front cross member, which is really neat. I mean, this piece right here is, I don't want to tell you what it costs because it's outrageous. So then ductwork. So yeah, we learned a long time ago that you need to manage the airflow going across the engine if you want these things to survive out here. So we think of this thing like an air molecule. I want every air molecule that goes in, I want to manage where it goes. I want to force it across the core. If I could help extract it out of the engine, I will do that. And so all the front section of the car has been managed for airflow. Obviously, these going to the radiator. These go directly to the intercooler core. These goes on the side. They just feed extra air into the intercooler on the side over here just to provide additional airflow.
Yeah, see that?
Yep.
Tucked into the side
Just
there.
to pump air into
That
it.
is
So we're getting air into there. Once it gets into the box, it's forced to go across the core. And we calculate these things based off of how much power this is supposed to make, how much airflow we need on the front of the core, so forth and so on. So that's a C&R dual pass radiator right there, laid down, and which is it's a pretty badass piece of kit. Small fan on the back, and it's got a swirl pod up top here. So the cooling system, the highest point of the cooling system is behind here. So this is where we do the fill at. This is the radiator cap here, basically.
Yeah.
So it's fully contained, so the highest point of the system is here, so we're able to get a maximum amount of air bubbles out of this thing.
Yeah.
So it is, you can't do anything else with a V-mount without doing this kind of thing here, this kind of a system on it. But the ducting, the radiator will bleed, the engine itself bleeds, any little cooler that has water going through it, it all has a bleed, and all those bleeds go into there. So if any micro steam accumulates in the radiator core, it goes off the top, it bleeds off in those things, and it winds up accumulating
Migrates
over
into
there.
that swirl pot there.
So it gets it out of the engine.
And some extra.
Those will go and blast air on the brake ducts.
Yep.
So just had extra space over there. There wasn't much room with the intercooler, and I kind of reached a point where we weren't sure what to do. So we had to kind of make something over there that worked. So now with this nose off, you guys can see how the air, we steal this air, goes right across the core, and then it's directed with this guy out through the top
Up through the hood.
to promote it. And the theory would be on that too, is as the air is going across the core, it would create a little low pressure up there and would draw the air out and extract it and put downforce on the nose. So multiple benefits.
It's just very difficult to do.
Not only do you got the intercooler and then the radiator, so air goes across the intercooler, gets hot, slows down, then it's got to go across the radiator. So we take those things and we turn them into a V, dedicated airflows for each one, and it looks bitchin'. And it's really hard to do, so not a lot of people can do it. And you got to cut your car up to do this. So you better have a solid plan.
Yeah, now without that in place, you can see where the core support had gone.
It's a minimum of 25 hours a week minimum on this car for 2 years. Mostly 30 to 40 hours
I mean,
a
even
week.
in this front end alone. And now I just want to see underneath it.
I want you to
we've
see
seen-
underneath it, man.
We've seen all of this, and you've told me.
And
both of you guys told me.
we're serious, dude.
I'm serious.
I mean, we're both
It's
serious.
just like this underneath, so
I mean, we're serious.
I want to see it.
It's just like this underneath.
We're going to put it on the lift, and we're going to check it out. Let's finish off the ducting here, because now we can actually see everything. So I was just looking at this brake fin.
Just a little, directional blast onto the brakes.
That's cool. So now you can really see it. So from this little vent here, follows all the way down through here, right on the brakes.
Yeah.
Really cool.
This is interesting too, dude. Like, we had to get a way to get all this run of plumbing and wires from one side of the car to the other.
Yeah.
So we just made this dummy mock-up tube from the top. You look down, it looks like a piece of pipe. You can't really tell.
What's it made of?
Just a rolled piece of steel.
rolled steel?
Yeah, it's like a 40 thou cold rolled, and I just bent
cool.
it up on a piece of chromoly tubing, and boom, now it's
From the bottom, you can see everything that's hidden in there, but up
Yeah.
top, it looks just kind of like a neat bar. Just like you don't even notice it. It's just kind of
Had to come up
hidden
with a
in
neat
plain
way
sight.
to hide all this stuff and move it from one side of the car to the other.
Cool.
Like, so we took off every single one of these bolts from the car, everywhere, and categorized each one of them. We measured it, we made sure we had the proper washers with it, and we went over and logged every single one in the whole bottom of the car, 37 pounds worth of it.
Yeah.
We sent it out and have it all matching cadmium plated. And when this thing originally was put together, it just looks like a gem here, but the hardware is everywhere. It's all matching. I mean, down to the transmission, to the engine here is all the same hardware up there.
Because we had this thing down to a bare tub.
Yeah,
So
that's
we
the
had
other thing.
all these cross members out, everything out of the car. So it really just allowed us to break this thing down to every component that it's made out of, and
Clean it all.
clean and inspect and detail every single part. All the arms are like deburred. All the aluminum here is all the flashing from the factory casting is
So like,
taken
yeah,
off.
that's an A-arm, so it's, it's a nice cast piece of aluminum,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
got flashing marks and casting marks on it, so we increase the surface tension of it by taking all that away and, cleaning it up.
Deburred it. And
Making it look nicer, and it's a better performing piece right now, but it also looks nicer too.
Yeah.
So,
big Brembos,
Big
the
Brembos.
endurance rotors.
it's a nice HKS.
What size are they?
They're 13 and a half, I think.
That's a 4-inch exhaust, right? That's
Right. So it's going to take up some space.
huge.
Yeah, it's going to take up some
Massive,
space.
like-
And then we stole this here with 4-inch oval for a cutout. So it's a straight shot of oval to an electric cutout, which is pretty neat because then you can hear this thing sing with no exhaust on it, and it sounds really,
Yeah,
Flip
exhaust.
of the switch.
Yep, flip a switch, nice and throaty sounding.
It's got a
That's so
veal side
nice.
titanium muffler on it, which is cool.
And since it runs a flex fuel system, so it runs the E85 or gas back and forth, the whole fuel lines are all PTFE lined, all crimp fittings there, Brown and Miller Racing Solutions, and then nice stainless hardline. You can't have anything raw aluminum or steel with ethanol; it'll just corrode and rust. So
right.
it all has to be stainless or Teflon.
Got 2 fuel pumps, the flex fuel sensor, and
What fuel pumps are it?
So it's got 2 Bosch 044s.
2 Bosch.
It's got 2 Weldon pre-pump filters, and it's got a Weldon post-pump filter up there also.
and we wanted to protect all that stuff, so we built a neat little box around it. And
And flex fuel sensors up in there also. And
The drive shaft, everything. Down to the guibo.
yeah, we're
Covers
kind of
all the
OCD about these things, but
I haven't
pays off.
noticed. The trans is all painted.
Yeah, it's
lucky finding one of those V160s, let alone
Yeah.
it's in
perfect
Even
condition with
mention it,
60,000 miles.
I know it's a factory transmission for this car. It's a V160, but man,
Rare
good luck
piece.
finding them.
Good luck,
And-
and then good luck finding one for less than $6,000 or $7,000.
Exactly.
Because I mean, that transmission nowadays it costs as much as a nice used car.
Yeah, and it's a factory diff.
Factory diff, yep. Factory gearing in there. We actually just went through it. It's got a TRD differential in there, limited slip.
TRD.
Yeah.
What coilovers are on this?
So it's got the HKS coilovers on it, and they're actually really nice. They work really nice for street cars, and they're good for a circuit car too. So
Yeah.
it's actually a really nice suspension setup.
And of course, when we had this thing apart, every new bearing, new wheel bearing, new bushing, new everything, new anything.
And
that
we
was
zeroed out
even-
everything
yeah,
on
we
it.
just zeroed the whole thing out.
Quick bleeders out here.
Yeah,
as
that's the
well.
bleeder. So it's just it's got the clutch is a Tilton triple disc, carbon, so it has the slave cylinder is mounted on the shaft. So the input shaft's got the slave mounted there. So it's got a clutch external shaft with a fulcrum here. So they move
Full
it
type.
directly onto the shaft. So it makes
it-
it really precise.
Well, guys, you've done a superb job. Glad you could get reacquainted with it. Glad you could acquaint the rest of us with it.
Yeah, man, it's just kind of nice to hang out with it for a little bit. So thanks for letting us put it up on the lift and hang out a little bit.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
wanted to see this on a lift as soon as I saw it pull in.
Well, I'm glad you're not asking us to do burnouts with it, because
Or jump something, Isn't that
This
really
is not a jumpable
it's
car.
not really a jumpable car.
No.
do it once,
But
Yeah.
but that would be about it.
That's it. That's a lot of money down the drain.
Yeah.
A lot of hard work down the drain. I
Yeah,
don't want to see that. I just want to sit back and appreciate it. Nice work.
it's a good venue for vehicles like this. So I'm glad you guys are doing it.
If you see this at a car show, you never get to see underneath it. You never get to see everything that they've put into it, or even know that they've replaced every bolt in the car. They've touched absolutely every part. That everything's been handmade. Everything like that. All the thought process that went into it with you guys and Enrique on just seeing how the light hits the car for the show and everything else.
So this does it. This is the venue where you can see this.
That's amazing. I'm glad
So-
you guys came out.
I'm glad we
I was
came here.
just
I'm glad we
ready
came
to
in too,
nerd
man.
out on this car with you guys. And
I'm totally digging it, man. I'm glad you guys let us
pleasure
come
to finally
through.
meet you guys for once.
Hey. Yeah, man. Let's go
I
have
don't wanna
some
watch this
Cambodian
car
food
roll
and
away.
drink some beer.
Cambodian food.
We're in Cambodia town. Let's go.
Man,